Hi, everybody. It's Michael Angelo Caruso. I'm here with the lovely and talented Rene Pothetes.
Hello, everybody.
We thought we'd do a fun breakthrough call for you tonight. We call it a breakthrough call because by the time we're finished with you here in about 30 minutes, you're going to have a breakthrough on something that you've been struggling with for a long time. I speak confidently about this because I've helped so many people, hundreds of people do this. And it is stunning to me how few people understand the formula for the breakthrough. And I suppose it's just us working against ourselves as human beings. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. But toward the end of the call, I have a special invitation for you that I'll share. And Rene's going to be involved with that. And I think it'll be worth your while to hang on for that as well. So when we talk about a breakthrough, Rene, we're talking about solving a seemingly intractable life problem. So we're talking about things like not being completely happy, not being completely fulfilled, maybe being in an unsatisfying relationship, maybe even just being bored, or how about this, unhealthy, living somehow beneath where you should be in terms of feeling good every day. Mm-hmm. And what we want to do is arrange for you to have this breakthrough so that you have this experience. I think every human being deserves it. If you're listening in for other reasons, if you, for example, have no problems in life and everything is perfect for you, there probably is no reason for you to listen for even 5 minutes more because we can't help you, right? Your life is great. But if you have any issues at all, I think you're going to find this very helpful. And Rene's useful because she's been through some life stuff and she understands the model, and she's going to have a lot to say in this call as well. So I think the first step, Rene, for anybody that's looking to solve one of these intractable problems is to admit that they have a problem in the first place, yeah?
Absolutely. And I think one of the challenges that a lot of people have is that often what brings them to a pivotal time in their life is that something traumatic has happened. Something has gotten so bad, or there has been a traumatic experience and they've now had a wake-up call that they say, oh my gosh, I really have to do something right now. Yeah. And yet they don't know what that means.
So just to give you a couple of examples, you get fired from your job, your wife files for divorce, doctor tells you you have prostate cancer. All these things will get your attention. Mm-hmm. But here's an interesting question. Can we get you to think about transforming your life without going to the hospital? Is it possible to transform your life without going to the hospital? Is it a better life to be proactive about this and make these changes before you have other issues on your plate, like getting a stent or having radiation treatment? Because let me tell you something, when you get radiation treatment, you can't focus on anything else. Mm-hmm. That's not a good time to start thinking about transformation.
Right.
So when you admit you have a problem, the psychologists call this the naked look in the mirror. It's this idea, if I may, of you strip down completely naked and you stand in the light of day in a full-length mirror, and you take stock in yourself, literally, right? And what do you suppose happens with the average person when they do this? Where do their eyes go?
Oh my gosh, we start looking at the imperfections immediately. It's the things that we dislike about ourselves most.
Yeah, so you start looking at your love handles or your pot belly or your sagging or your receding hairline or whatever, you know. And it's not healthy to do that. What the psychologist eventually wants you to do is be okay just standing in front of the mirror and just loving yourself, you know, just forgetting about the imperfections, right? The less important details. Because the most important side, your best side is not the outside, it's the inside. I tell people when I'm getting photographs all the time, I joke, they say, what's your good side? I say, it's the inside. Good luck taking a picture of that, you know? So when you can look at yourself naked in a mirror and appreciate all that is you, the wonder of who you are, right? And stop focusing on the dead cells like your hair and your skin and your fingernails, you know? Focus on the stuff that's alive and vital, the stuff you can actually do something about, and the stuff that's really important.
But in
And
the
then,
same vein, don't trick yourself that there isn't something that maybe you could improve on.
yeah. Well, you mentioned the naked look in the mirror, for example, because metaphorically, it's what we're doing when we consider what is life like being unfulfilled. You know, there's a gap. If this is completely fulfilled and this is unfulfilled, there's a gap here. If this is completely happy and this is kind of happy, right? If this is living life to its fullest and this is bored every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, there's a gap. And the problem is, if intractable means seemingly unsolvable, if this is an intractable problem, it's probably been around for a while. In medical parlance, it's called chronic. It means long-term, long time, chronic. And if it's chronic, you're probably used to it. And if you're used to it, you think it's normal. And this is actually the biggest problem of all. Because when you think about how bad things are, you start to rationalize and justify that it's okay that things are this way. But I don't want you to do that. As you think about what this transfer, whatever it is in your life that you want to fix, relationship, health, you want more zip in your life, you want 6 weeks vacation a year, you want to write a book, start a business, right? Whatever it is, whatever you want to change, it's all up to you. There's no right answer. It's what you want to do. But you first need to admit there's a problem, and you need to revel in how bad things are. I want you to ask these questions in particular. Do you have a pen? I want you to write these down. Use a Sharpie, man. Write it in bold. Here we go. Number 1, how bad is it? Remember, the naked look in the mirror, you get a full assessment. Nothing's missing in the full length in the mirror. Nothing's hidden. Nothing's cloaked. You look at everything. How bad is it? Second question, how long has it been this bad? Right? If it's intractable, it's been going on. Days? No. Weeks? Probably not. Years, baby. Years. Number 3, what are the problems, the related problems associated with the primary problem? Number 4, what's the ripple effect or the long-term consequences of not solving this problem? These are good questions. And how can we then take the answers to these questions serious enough that we would actually be able to take some action? Well, it turns out there are 2 fatal flaws that most people, they're traps that people fall into. Rene knows this too. We've talked about this. 2 fatal flaws or traps that people fall into when they're trying to solve intractable problems, when they're trying to transform their lives. And the first one is, we get mired in the details of the problem, which are remarkably unimportant when it comes to solving the problem. Rene did something rather remarkable 4 years ago. She moved across country. Most people don't have the courage to do this. Most people can't do it. Most people, if they have a chance to do it, they decline it. Rene embraced it and made it happen. And it was remarkable watching her do this, because if I remember correctly, Rene, you didn't think about the details at all before you fully committed to the change. I think that the commitment came first, correct?
The commitment came first. The desire to experience this move and to create something else in my life was what made the decision. And the decision was very easy.
You didn't think about how much it would cost?
Nope.
How you would get there?
Nope.
Really, you didn't even think about how it would work out. You had no way of knowing how it would work out. You just committed fully to the process first, and then we'd work out the details later, yeah?
Yes, and what started to happen once I committed to the process, it doesn't mean that I didn't have tools to start to build on, okay, this is what needs to happen next and needs to happen next. But the commitment was made, and then what started happening is my new future unveiled itself day by day. New ideas, new things that I learned, new experiences I was going to have, new people that were coming into my life as a result of this move, the experiences I was having with people trying to put together the move. All these things that were seemingly my future were suddenly my present, And it wasn't scary at all. It was
Yeah.
one of the most exciting times in my life, quite honestly.
Yeah. And, most people have it backwards. We become so interested in the details of how to make it happen. I mean, think about other examples. So let's say you're in a job, a dead-end job, and you could retire from this job and you're getting paid just fine, but it's unfulfilling for you, right? It's not exciting. You deserve better. You deserve better, right? And you can't commit to changing because you're so caught up in the details of what it looks like and how it would happen and how it might impact this and this and this. And you get apoplectic. It means you can't decide, you can't do anything because you're so mired in the details. And what any psychologist will tell you is you have to almost forget about the details and focus 100% on committing to the process. And this is a shift in your mindset that psychologists know something about, and they call it reframing. And once you shift your mindset and fully commit to the process, the details, like Rene says, they fall right into line. Because we know it's possible to move across the country. Mm-hmm. Hundreds and thousands of people have done it through the years. Yep. It's not a superhuman thing, right? Anybody can do it. It just seems that way because you're focused on all the details. It's almost counterintuitive to think of it this way, but it is the number one trap that people fall into when they're trying to transform their lives. And the second fatal flaw, the second trap, is that we think that we can do it alone. And that's the biggest lie we've ever told ourselves. Because if you could do it alone, you would have done it already. Now, some of you would throw that example of Rene back in my face and say, well, Rene moved across the country alone. But there's a big difference between Rene's change and your change. Rene did it. Your intractable problem has not been solved yet. How long have you been working on it? A year? 3 years? 5 years? How much longer are you willing to endure this problem? You see? And so when you start to realize not only can't you do it alone, but the people who love you the most either cannot or will not help you solve your intractable problem, it starts to look like a tangled web, doesn't it? I told you I have an invitation for you in a minute. Hang on. And so Freud said that people are motivated by the anticipation of pleasure and the avoidance of pain, right? And so you can look at how bad, your situation is, but you can also look at how good it could be, right? And when you identify that gap and commit to the process, you start to move in that direction. So I do think it's important to look at how good you would feel when you're finally healthy again, or how much
amazing your relationship would be if you can open those doors of communication back up.
Yeah. And how fulfilled you would be if your job was actually more rewarding, right? So we blame other people for our problems. We blame other people for our issues. And in fact, it's all you, baby. It's all on you. And it starts with you reframing your position on it. And it's possible. And I know it's possible because we have like hundreds of case studies. So the first place I go for case studies is my clients. Some of you know that I teach presentation skills to CEOs, top leaders, salespeople all over the world. And if you want to have a quick glance at my recommendations on LinkedIn, my clients write my sales copy for me. They say the most amazing things about my services. I'm so grateful. I have the best clients in the world. But you read some of those testimonials and you understand I have the formula down, right? And to the extent where we help you very quickly, and we help you in ways that people that know you and love you can't help you. In some cases, won't help you. And so that's the first case study we wanted to share with you that, and in particular, a friend of mine and a client who works in Chicago, he's a financial services guy. And he's told everybody now that I've made his career. I did so many things for him in the last couple of years. His words, he's winning awards. He's increased his income by an impressive amount, and he gives me a lot of credit for it. I don't know if he's giving me too much credit. I think sometimes he does. But we made some changes to how he does things. We helped him reframe and rethink of himself in a different way. And once he did that, man, he started to just close more business. And here's my favorite part. I know nothing about what he sells. I couldn't explain it to you if you held a gun to my head. But I don't worry about the details. I worry about the reframe. And if you get the reframe, the deals follow suit. I promise you. So that's the first case study. The second case study, Renee's going to share with you, and it involves me. This woman changed my mindset because I couldn't do it alone. And here's my favorite part. I thought I knew what I was doing. She taught me things I didn't know I didn't know. Check it out. It has to do with eating, clean eating.
Clean eating and better sleep, just better overall health and movement, diet and exercise. And quite honestly, when we first met, you were eating better than a majority of people in the population eat. But your ideas of what was healthy, and here's an example, you used to eat a bowl of dry cereal without milk because you knew you didn't need too much milk. Milk really wasn't good for you. You didn't need dairy at this age. But you were eating a bowl of these wheat biscuits that were loaded with sugar and all sorts of other junk because supposedly you need this kind of fiber in your diet. And one of the biggest shifts we made early on was adding more healthy fats in your diet, bringing eggs into your diet almost every day for breakfast, which was a mind blower to you, as I recall right at the beginning. It's like, no, you're not supposed to have eggs every day because there's too much cholesterol and there's too much fat and there's too much this.
Yeah.
And yet it turns out over the course of the last couple of years, not only are you healthier just because it's not that you think you are, you in fact are, and that has showed up in all your physicals. Everything is healthy. You don't have any heart disease. You're not on any medications. You're not on any statins. You don't have high blood pressure. Your skin looks amazing. All these things fell into place just as a result of making some shifts. And it was more than anything, it was things that you just didn't know you didn't know.
Yeah. I'm not embarrassed to tell you, everyone, I'm 59 years old. I'm not on any medication. When I go to the doctor for physicals and stuff, and when I go, they're like, they do a double take, apparently, because all of you are on taking shit, So, and it's the lies we tell ourselves. And it's also the lies that society tells us. This wheat biscuit cereal that Rene is so, wheat biscuit cereal, it's called life. How can it be bad for you? It's actually called life. And I'm eating it like a chow hound every day because eggs are bad for you. I thought eggs have cholesterol. I've read, I'm a pretty well-informed guy. And eggs do have cholesterol, but it turns out not nearly as much as the cereal people are telling you. It's the cereal people telling you not to eat eggs. You understand that, right? I thought if I ate, cholesterol, my veins and arteries would close up, and then I have to go to the hospital for a stent, right? And then I'd be ready for a life transformation. But Rene got inside my head in more ways than one, I might add. And she convinced me. Sorry. She convinced me that the life cereal was not my path for feeling good. And I'll be darned, she was right. I started getting compliments about my skin, everybody. Now, I was doing some things behind the scenes, but I didn't think it was that obvious. In fact, I was still, even after a little bit into the regime, Rene, I was still a little cynical about all this, And then I started getting compliments. People would say at dinner parties and stuff, "What are you doing? Your skin, you look great." And I'm like, at first I didn't think they were talking to me. And then I'm like, whoa, thank you. But I have to give Rene all the credit because Rene shifted my mindset. If she hadn't done that, none of this would have happened. You can imagine I had some habits.
Well, I think another big shift that we made was really improving the quality of sleep that you weren't getting. Most people don't get enough sleep on a daily basis. And by us making some shifts to the amount of exposure you have to blue light, for example, before bedtime, making sure the room is dark, making sure that there's a come down period before you go to bed, and really pushing toward getting that 8 hours of sleep a night, which the body fought for a little while. And now getting 8 hours of sleep is not only normal, it's necessary to keep you going and functioning.
You don't do any of this stuff if just because you read it, just because you read the factoid about blue light. You do it because it's time to transform your health. You see? Because just fixing the blue light before you go to bed isn't transformation. That's just one little thing. But diet, we're talking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day for 5 years. Now you're talking transformation. So these are 2 case studies. We know the darn thing works. And I told you I have an invitation for you. We want to invite you to an event that will be transformational for you. We've done these before. We're going to be doing them in the future. And I don't mind telling you, the price is going to go up. I was talking to Rene. I think that the weekend we're about to invite you to is probably a $2,000 plus ticket per person in the future. This one's already been priced out. There were a couple of other things attached to it. We had to do it this way. But I want you to know about it because you can still get early bird registration if you act quickly. If you're listening to this recording after the fact, you're either just getting some good content and being invited to the event without early bird. But if you're getting to it before early bird, you're going to save $200 per person. So it's $400 if you bring your significant other. And I highly suggest you bring your significant other to the transformation event. Otherwise, you're going to be tussling with that person when you go back home. Remember, the person that wouldn't or couldn't help you earlier, right? We're going to get you both at the same time. It's going to be a twofer. So this event is November 2nd and 3rd at the famous, legendary Saddlebrook Spa and Resort. It's in Tampa, Florida. And this is an exclusive event. We're only going to probably have about 8 or 10 people there. We have not booked a bunch of hotel rooms. We are not planning on scads of people because we want to talk to you in conversation just like this. This is why we wanted to do the video for you today. Listen to Rene when she's talking to you. Listen to Michael when he's talking to you. And let us be with you during this immersion weekend where we get inside your head a little bit and talk to you about life transformation so that you can finally lose the weight that you've been trying to lose for 8 or 10 years. You can finally properly assess this toxic relationship that you've been in. By the way, do not bring that person to my event. You can finally go to work on this unfulfilling job that pays just fine. They love you. You'll probably retire from it. Isn't that good news? Another 15 years at this job you don't really care for. You'll be able to think about writing that book you wanted to finally write, launching a business that you wanted to launch. I've been teaching people for years to travel the world as a professional speaker. Now is your time, man. I have a friend, Ravi Ravindran in Sri Lanka. He says, now is your time. You will never have it again. Now is your time. You will never have it again. So this event will normally be north of $2,000 per person in the future. Right now it's only $975. And with early bird registration, it's $775. So you're going to save $4 if you register before midnight on September 31st, 2018. To register and learn more about it, you want to go to michaelangelocaruso.com/product/life mastery retreat. michaelangelocaruso.com/product/life mastery retreat. And if you want to search it on Google, it's quite easy. Caruso Life Mastery Retreat. It'll come right up. Okay? Caruso Life Mastery Retreat. It will come right up. So we hope to see you in Tampa. And of course, you can leave comments down below or just message me sometime with what you think of all this. I think that you deserve to live the best life possible. I don't think you should just be getting by. I think groundhogs get up every day and they get by. Remember that movie Groundhog Day where every day is the same? That's another analogy for groundhogs, right? Every day can be better for us. We're human beings, everybody. You have talent. You have a skill set. You have passion. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be fulfilled. And all you need is that little breakthrough, that little mindset shift, and you're on your way. And Rene and I will help you with that.
Yes, we will.
We love you. We want you to be happy. We want you to be even more successful. So we hope to see you in Tampa, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.